When we came up with the team, say Operation Zero Tolerance, we were saying zero tolerance to deaths on our roads. We were saying having zero crashes, yes, on our roads.
We'd love to see you in Dashiki or Dandogo or Agbada.
The youth still have a very big chance of making a very big difference. That's why I started a lot of projects.
We have not been able to distinguish traditional medicine from traditional religion. So that one has...
Every edition is an arresting conversation with distinguished Nigerians from various strata of the society, bearing their minds on how we can realize the Nigeria of our dreams. Join us live on Close Flow, Monday and Friday, every week here on NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Close Flow. The conversation is about you.
Team of Europe's early teams.
Hello, it's good to have you join us again for your favorite program. This is Close Flow, coming to you from NTA2 Lagos Network Center. And it's always a delight to have you join us at the table as we continue to unravel the story of Nigeria and how each one of us, or if all of us, collectively and responsibly, we are playing our parts in how this country becomes properly defined and how the narrative about the country takes us to the next level. Today again, we have decided to invite yet into the studio another distinguished Nigerian. We say our guests are distinguished because we believe that within their space, within their forte, they have been able to establish a way forward. They have said to us, look, let's take it to the next level. Let's stop looking at the country as if it's some ephemeral being, but that all of us are responsible on how this country should be properly defined. So we have yet another distinguished Nigerian here in the studio with us to come and look at, is there a future for Nigeria? Or are we already mortgaging the future of Nigeria by our irresponsible behaviors, especially in nurturing our children appropriately? Are we actually acting in the right regard, respecting the rights of these children who are going to define the future of Nigeria? So I was saying that Nigeria as a country will continue maybe in another 10, 15 years, 2 decades, 3 decades, or will the ills of today finally wrap the story of Nigeria? Well, that is some of the questions we'll be asking our guest. Our guest is a multilingualist, but more than that, she also holds a master's degree in operations management. She's into, super level of managers, but she's also a mother. She's a wife. She's concerned about how we are dealing with our children, especially when we are looking at the question of bullying. So I have with me Mrs. Adesola Oyinleye-Ndu. You're welcome to Close Flow.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And it's good for us to have you here because I'm so excited to know that you are here. I have a daughter also. I'm a little bit worried about what is going on in schools. So let's first define what we are dealing with here. So bullying, are we just looking at the school environment, or we are looking at bullying as a critical subject?
Well, we need to look at it as a critical subject, but we start from the school environment.
Okay, good. Let's come back to the school environment. So why is that prevalent?
Oh yeah, well, the definition of bullying is that persistent intimidation or persecution of those perceived as weaker. So it is a psychological thing. It could be something that goes on all the time, or it could be on a one-off basis. The most important thing is to ask the questions. Is it deliberate? Was it done to intimidate somebody? or persecute somebody? Was it done to just make the person unhappy, and because we feel the person is weaker? Whenever we're able to answer this, and of course, we ask the question, does it leave a negative effect on that victim? When we're able to answer this, it's bullying.
Now, okay, wait. Let's retrace our steps.
Yeah.
You says intimidation.
Yeah.
So who is intimidating whom? Somebody who seems to be stronger, or who is it stronger in real sense, or by perception?
By perception, it's an imbalance in power. Power could be in form of the strength. It could be in form of the followership. You know, you could see there are some little children as little as this, and you see them bullying older children because they have the followership or because of their social status. It's a perception. Oh, my parent is this, my daddy is this, my mother is this, my auntie is this, and then you want to get on another child who is perceived as weaker. So it's a perception. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person is stronger in terms of the strength. Maybe just because the bully has that followership or has a stronger, in his or her mind again, a better social status.
Yes.
And of course, maybe sometimes it happens in terms of strength as well.
Okay, now let's situate it properly now. So the bully, maybe because of the social class, because of home environment.
Oh, yes.
It's probably from a rich home.
Oh,
it's probably is used to the idea of leading people, or people gravitating towards him. So it's like everybody must come to me.
Oh, yes.
So if there's somebody who's not coming to him, it's like what's
going on? Yeah.
So you are saying it's a home environment.
Oh, I tell you, most bullies are homegrown. And no matter how we define it...
Let my viewers understand that.
Most bullies are homegrown. No matter how we define it, if we talk about the anxious bully, those ones are the ones with very low self-esteem of themselves. They could be curbed from home. If we talk about the sadistic bullies, those ones are the ones with very high self-esteem of themselves, like what we just said now, that they have something and they don't want other people to have the same thing. The moment they see somebody who has something close to it, it becomes a threat to them. Such people, they are also homegrown. We can nurture them in a positive way that they would overcome this insecurity. Yeah. Now, we also have the bully victims. The bully victims are those ones who have been bullied at some point.
Probably from home.
Most times from home as well, and even from school. You know, when they get to junior classes and all that, and they master the game and become the master of the game themselves when they get to senior classes or they grow older. Maybe they've been bullied by their house helps. This is another thing we really need to look at. I mean, we have to be empathetic. A child must be taught from home to be empathetic, to be compassionate, to be selfless in whatever he or she does. So they are homegrown.
These values that you are raising here will sound very esoteric to a number of parents, because the challenges of today's life actually may have... Okay, no, let's give excuses. Let's first come back to how we're going to deal with this. So you're saying that parenting is very key to how we curb or how we stem this. That's what you're saying here.
Yeah, very, very key. Mostly parents must be empathetic themselves.
Before they can share it.
You have to nurture an empathetic child. If you want to nurture an empathetic child, you have to be empathetic yourself. That means you have to be compassionate, you have to be non-judgmental, and you have to be selfless. Because children watch us do all these things. When they see that you're not compassionate to the next person, or you're talking about... you're being judgmental, saying this person is this because
so self-opinionated.
Yes. And I tell you, bullies, what they do normally is when you ask them, why did you do it? They will always give you excuses for why they did it. So when parents, we're also judgmental, they learn the skills from us. And it's like, oh, okay, they know they're going to ask me why I did it. So what I do, as a rule of the thumb, I don't ask why you did it. I tell my children, you did this, is this wrong or right? I want to hear a yes or a no. Because you have to speak to their conscience as well. They have to know what they're doing is wrong. It's nothing like I slapped him because, or I hit her because. No, nothing like that. It must be, it is wrong doing that. No
it is
right. No,
yes.
Yes is yes. And that's what parents must also learn to do.
I like that. I like what you have just said. Before we'll take you to the larger society, because some of these questions we are asking, they have to do with the ability of the individual to interrogate their own consciences, to say to themselves, okay, so is this fair to this person? Is it right for me to do this? Is this good for everyone? That's what you're asking them to do. Yeah, but in Nigeria, a lot of that's not even taught anymore. I mean, we don't have civic education anymore. We don't have, I mean, all this is our curriculum is changing every day. So who's going to be teaching these children?
Well, we're advocating now to have this in the civic education. We are also, we've been speaking with the Ministry of Education nationwide to see how we can get these values back. The most important thing is that most children these days, they lack good social skills. And they are not empathetic because of the way they are growing. Daddies are not there, mommies are out to work. Everyone is busy doing something. We are all working. Both parents are working. And so, I mean, the children are left at the mercy of the house helps. And tell me, what values do this house help have? I once spoke with somebody. She lost her job. And I told her, I said, only God knows why. She had the last baby, and she lost her job. I said, only God knows why. But I tell you, among our 3 children, the 3rd child, the last one, is the wisest of them all. Because she grew up, basically, the child grew up with her and grew up learning from her, learning to do things the way she does things, knows that she prays at so time, knows that she does it this way. So, I mean, parents, we cannot negotiate. It's not negotiable. Having time to spend with the children, there's always that difference. In a child that has time with the parents, and with the, even when if it's grandparents, well, I mean, they're still passing the same value you got to you. They might be weaker in terms of that, they're now frail. They might not be as strict as they used to be, could be. But I mean, it's still better than putting the children in the hands of domestic help.
Okay, now let's come to the reality of it. Now, in your studies, do we have a surveillance report, a surveillance profile of how bad this is? Because it's good for us to we're speaking now as it were extemporarily on the table, but do we have a surveillance saying to us in terms of figures, this is what we are dealing with?
I tell you, in Nigeria, unfortunately, we don't have those figures, but I tell you, research has shown that a child bully gets into crime before the age of 33, most times. Research has shown that a child bully gets into crime before the age of 33.
You're saying that there's a natural tendency?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, I tell you, we're talking about children that are not empathetic, that do not have good social skills. Now, I always let parents know, an unchecked tantrum could lead to an aggressive child. And an aggressive child could become a violent adult. So what's happening there? We're having a damaged child becoming a damaged adult. And we don't want a situation where a damaged adult will lead the country. So then in that case, it means we are going to have a damaged country. So, I mean...
No, this is a vicious cycle you have painted for us.
Oh, yes.
So you're saying even if you're going to define our political space, if we want to actually find the kind of leadership, the quality leadership at the political realm of affairs, we have to look at the child. That's what you're saying here.
Yes.
So what the result we are seeing right now all over the whole place, we appear that we have had damaged children.
Oh yes. I mean, I discussed with somebody some time ago, and they said, "Oh, don't do this bullying thing. We have a bullying culture." And I was like, a bullying culture? He said, yes, that is what we have in this country. I mean, it was like I was bringing in something foreign. Actually, that was the language of the person. Oh, you're bringing in something foreign, and we have a bullying culture here. It's not going to go very far. But I said, well, somebody has to speak about something, and somebody has to give a check to it.
No. I would like you to go back on that. because this is it's become very critical now, so that our viewers can see where you're coming from. That somebody already has the understanding that the culture that we have in Nigeria is a bullying culture. Yeah. So it's a systemic thing.
Yeah.
You agree with that? That means in virtually every sphere of the country, people are being bullied. Oh,
I tell you, I've always told people that we are sitting on the keg of gunpowder now, because in another 15, 20, 30 years, if this is not checked, we are going to be in big trouble. I mean, we have cultists all over the place. We have violent. I mean, when people talk about
kidnapping, virtually every day.
Yes, they're all vices associated to bullying. These are people who lack empathy, and they do not have good social skills. You don't think about that. If you are compassionate, I mean, there's no way you would kidnap another person. If you're compassionate, there's no way you would want to kill another person. It's about nurturing empathetic children. It's about nurturing children that would just, I mean, grow up and be good citizens. Know that they have to be there, work selflessly. They won't be selfish either. I mean, it's about selfish attitudes that make people go into all these vices. I always say, nip it in the bud. We must start now. Well, the grown-ups are grown. Well, hopefully, we pray for divine intervention, like they say. But the younger ones coming up, yes, the younger ones
that seems to be the fall guy in Nigeria. Yeah. Divine intervention. It's like everything must go back to heaven.
Oh yes.
Before it comes back to earth.
And when we have it, we are seeing it with our own eyes. We know that it's not right. We know that it has to be checked somehow. And it's so interesting that, I mean, when you talk about it to people, some people can't even connect to it, because even when in schools, they don't call it the name bullying. They kind of make it look so nice and say it's fagging,
yes,
it's service,
yes,
to a senior. I mean, I always tell people, being at school should be fun. There shouldn't be a reason why another child should be serving another child. I don't think the school timetable, the school timetable has this time to serve another person. So if you're not taking a child out of his or her studies to serve you, to iron your clothes, then you extort provisions, you extort money, pocket money from that person. That's not nice at all. That is not being compassionate. That's not being empathetic at all. And these values must go back into the systems. The parents need to help us here. We can't do it as individuals alone. We can't do it as organizations alone. We need to drive this message home to parents. Please, you need to help us here. You need to help us nurture. It's about nurturing children, empathetic children, compassionate children. It's about nurturing selfless children. And they can only see this from us. I mean, somebody comes and says, oh, please, please, can you just help me take my child to school? And the child can hop into your car. It doesn't cost you anything. And then you say, oh, I'm not going by 9 o'clock. I think I'll go by 9. The children are watching. And the funniest thing is, children, when they want to rehearse what you've just done, they go a step higher.
And that's the danger.
And that's the danger. So parents, we really need to watch the way we do our things around our children if we want to bring up children that will be responsible and help us to build this nation.
Well, I think we're in a catch-22 situation right here now. Because these parents we are appealing to now are already damaged. That's really my concern. Yeah. So what's going to do the transformation? What's going to help them?
Well, I talk about ignorance. They say there's no ignorance in law, but I tell you, if we say the parents are damaged, I wouldn't even say they're damaged. It's more about ignorance. A parent that grew up under the society of fagging and thinks
might not even know that was even bad in the first place.
Does not even understand that is bad. So through awareness programs as this, through organizations, companies supporting this type of programs, we are going to get out there. I mean, get out there
and speak
to people. Let parents know the wrongs under which they were brought up and the rights that should have been the case. And when people are able to balance the two, they come to the right situation. And that's where we're actually heading to. I mean, we have our SDG goals, which also talks about safety and security.
Yes.
SDG number 5. I mean, why do we have to? People will say when you talk about safety and security, it's about thinking about those people going to war and all that. No. Bullying affects security in the society.
Now, I would like, no. Before you go to that, because I would like to look at that, I want to extrapolate it to the larger society. Let's first look at, is there any relationship between bullying and emotional intelligence?
Oh, yes, there is. Wow. There is. Emotional intelligence, it's about understanding where this person is coming from. And that is where we talk about empathy.
Yes, I was just coming to, you took that from my mouth.
Yeah, that's why we talk about empathy. When you're able to understand where somebody is coming from, you're able to put the person in your shoes. And at the same time, you're able to flow with the person's emotions. These are the things that bullies lack. They can't flow with your emotion. They can't even feel it. They can't even see it.
Except theirs.
Except theirs. And they think they're always right. They will always give you excuses. I did this because. Okay. There will always be a because. So we've got to be very, very careful.
Now, so let's extrapolate it now.
Yeah.
So a bully who has become like a leader, for instance, either in business, in government, in the church, in the mosque. So what you're saying is that he's going to exhibit it naturally, because he doesn't say anything wrong with it anyway.
Okay. You can't feel it. He or she can't feel it. You can't feel what you're feeling. The person is being judgmental. The person is not compassionate. The person is not selfless. He or she is selfish. And they just, they can't relate to what you're feeling. I mean, you're feeling bad. Maybe there's somebody that said some time ago that the immediate boss, will always pick on her. Every time she would cry her eyes out,
and the man cannot even see it.
No, and unfortunately, the immediate was also a woman, and it would just pick on her every time. She would cry her eyes out, and one day, and this is the only way you can break free: speak out.
Okay, so one day
she spoke out and said, "No, this is it.
I won't take it anymore.
I won't take it anymore. Every time I come, this is what I do. This is what," and then that was it. This is what I do. You're never happy with what I do. I'm going to leave this office for you. She spoke out, gave it to the boss big time. And that was it.
She broke free.
Yeah. I mean, most time the antidote to getting away from a bully is speaking out. Is standing up for yourself. Letting them know that you are also human like they are. And then in their mind, it's like, oh, so he or she can now. He or she has now suddenly realized that this is wrong. And then, somehow, and the funniest thing is that the bullies themselves, they feel very insecure.
Now, you need to define that for us, because a lot of people might not understand that. How can they be insecure when they can virtually get whatever they're asking for?
I just analyze the types of bully. We have the anxious bully, those ones with low self-esteem.
They already have low self-esteem.
Yes, they have low self-esteem of themselves. So the only way to feel big is to get on another person who is naturally even better than they are, but they would now want to bring the person down, belittle the person, speak evil of the person, just bring the person down. So in that, they're already feeling insecure. There's an insecurity in having a low self-esteem, which we call the inferiority complex. Now, the way to go to help such people is just to build their self-confidence. Let them know that there's no big deal. Yeah, they have something. They have some talents in them. And I also mentioned the other extreme, which is the sadistic bullies. Those ones have a very high self-esteem of themselves. Probably with the way they grew up, they don't just want other people to have what they have. They don't want other people to think the way they're thinking. And the moment they see something close to it, the person becomes a threat. I mean, I will not but mention the incidents recently, which is very topical in one of the secondary schools in Lekki, of a child, a very high-performing child, who has been coming first, and then another child came in and took over that position.
And he got...
And that took him off balance. Something was wrong there. There needs to be
so
balance.
there was a reaction.
Yes. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. There was no cause for it. I mean, there was no need for it to feel
what we are looking at is the possibility that maybe at home, that child must have been placed under some kind of stress that you cannot go to second.
There are two ways about it. I mean, we need to hear from the parents, from the family, to be able to know exactly what went wrong. There are two ways about it. The child may have grown up having everything and believing that he's the best, without the parents telling him that some people will be better than you, you will be better than the other, but always try your best. Be at your best at all times. That's an area to look at it. Another area may be because of the culture again. It might be that, oh, you came second last time, that must not happen again in this house. And the child, very young, does not know how to interpret that must not happen. The child must have been feeling like scared, like if this happens again, they might, I mean, I don't know what my parents will do to me, what they will deprive me of and all that. And so the child might just react to that. That's another way of it. And
all this boils down to the question of parenting.
Yeah.
Because if the right emotions have been built with the child by the parents, of course he won't feel threatened just by that declaration.
Oh, no, he won't. I mean, I always give this story everywhere we go for workshops. There is a little girl, there is, because she's still there, there is a little girl, she was left-handed, the parents changed her to using right. Yeah. And then from nursery school to primary 3, she would come 30th position out of 33, and her best friend was always coming first. And when the results come, oh, she asked, what's my position? She asked the parents, what's my position? I said, it's 30th. Oh, she said, oh, that's nice. At least there are 3 people behind me. I'm not the last person. And all of a sudden, in primary 3, she shot up to 3rd position. And the parents were like, wow, what's going on here? They said, okay, anyway, we're moving school. Because, I mean, at that stage, you say maybe the child is becoming older and can now stretch next to the best friend that comes first.
And giraffe the answers.
And then they moved to another school in another town, because they were going on transfer, relocation. And they moved to another town. Here she was again. She came 3rd. And they said, there is it. Well, she happened to be the only girl in our school who got into one of the federal government girls' colleges. And that girl is sitting right here with you. So I tell you, we need to build the self-confidence of our children. We need to also let them know that any talent they have, you can always build on it. I know that, I mean, every child has a talent.
A gift.
Yes, we should never look down on any child. It's very important. I mean, children who grow up with encouragement, you see them, they want to put in their best at all times. We should always know that children can't interpret most of these things we adults understand. Yes. Like, I mean, maybe if a parent said, don't come back home with this 2nd position again, the child has interpreted it in so many ways. Yes. I was like, oh, maybe they're going to throw me out of this house, maybe I'm going to be in trouble, or maybe there's going to be a holiday treat that I will not be part of. And the child just, in his or her mind. And again, that brings me to the issue of violent films. Yes. I mean, as a rule of the thumb, we as a rule of the thumb in our family, we don't watch some of these
extremely violent
children, not proper for the age. We always want to go with the age guide. The age guide. I mean, when they say this film is for 13 years, and
please respect that.
A 5-year-old child is watching it. I mean, and even when it's for 13 years, they still need that parental guidance. Yes. I mean, tell the child, okay, this person did this way because, and it is not acceptable. That is why the result. Because these children can't just. But I mean, if parents are not there, how would you even be able to interpret such film? And you don't even know what they're watching when you're not there. So.
Okay, now let's come back to how we can actually institutionalize some of the points you've made here. Yeah. Now, I'm not sure we have children rights.
Oh.
So now you seem to have lost hope there now.
No.
So how are we going to deal with that? Because already, if we don't have the legislative framework to find a way to stamp this into the consciousness of the citizenry, so how do we, what's the next step?
I must give kudos to the government, the Lagos State government, for what they are doing in the education system. In December, His Excellency Akinwumi Ambode gave an executive order for child protection policy in schools. I mean, that is an excellent thing to do. Now, if
amazing for this environment, I must say.
Yes, oh yes. If every state could do it, and of course, if at the aim of affairs, that's at the National Assembly level, the federal level, we have acts that will back this up. Because when you want to have a child protection policy, you have to hinge it on a particular act.
Yes.
If you don't have the act in place, no one will enforce it. For us, we advocate for anti-bullying policies, we advocate for child protection policies, and this should be in our system. It should be made compulsory. In the United States of America, for instance, every state is compelled, every school in every state is compelled to have an anti-bullying policy.
In place?
In place. Because the anti-bullying policy...
You have to subscribe to it?
Oh, yes. It is compulsory.
So in case anything happens in your school, you'll be...
Oh, yes.
You're vicariously liable.
Yeah, you are liable. And of course, the government also funds it. They fund programs to
educate people,
to raise awareness, to make sure they curb this there. And I tell you, if we can have something close to it here, it's going to help us. I mean, let's even start from enacting a law, having somebody promote the bills at all levels, say, every school must have the anti-bullying policy. The anti-bullying policy or the child protection policy will describe, first of all, what bullying is. And will tell you the reporting line. Will tell you the responsibility of the child, of the parents, and the teachers. So we're all responsible. It's not only going to be just one-way thing. The policy will
define all these things
and tell you the reporting line. Okay, if you come home now, for instance, a child comes home and you see scratches on the child, or a child does not want to go to school, and you ask what's happening, and he says somebody beat him, maybe somebody is threatening him and all, or her, and maybe even a teacher is making school difficult for him or her. The parents have a right normally to go to the school and know what is happening. There are different types of bullying. I mean, when we talk about bullying, people think it's just about the physical, the kicking. There's so much more to that than kicking, shoving, pushing, and the rest of it. We have emotional bullying.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that so that we can open up the storm, as it were, because by the time we go into emotional bullying and we go into the other side of it, I'll probably be looking at the Nigerian situation. Usually, I don't like to leave the Nigerian space when I have a guest like this. We should speak to our national issue, because if we are bullying our children, maybe we are also bullying some people in their offices. Stay with us. Then after this break, we'll continue with that.
When we came up with the team, say Operation Zero Tolerance, we were saying zero tolerance to deaths on our roads. We were saying having zero crashes, on our roads.
We'd love to see you in Dashiki or Dandogo or Agbada.
The youth still have a very big chance of making a very big difference. That's why I started a lot of projects.
We have not been able to distinguish traditional medicine from traditional religion. So that one has...
Every edition is an arresting conversation with distinguished Nigerians from various strata of the society, bearing their minds on how we can realize the Nigeria of our dreams. Join us live on Close Flow, Monday and Friday, every week here on NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Close Flow. The conversation is about you.
Thank you for staying with us to see Close Flow. I am still on 22 Lagos Network Center, and I'm very sure that many of you are absolutely excited about what we are looking at here today, because it's speaking to each one of us, especially when you're a parent, or you're going to be a parent, or even if you're a youngster, because maybe in your school or in your environment, in your neighborhood, amongst your friends, there are things that you can almost latch onto that she has spoken about here. And that's whatever you may want to call it. Either you want to call it bullying, you want to call it fagging, you want to call it peering, whatever you want to call it. There are some people seem to, impose their... Okay, now, you said something about emotional bullying.
Yeah.
So you're saying that it's not just the physical.
No.
So some people can actually, you can shut somebody down, or you can compel somebody...
Yeah, I mean, isolating. I mean, you see that people just isolate somebody or spread rumor about the person, or even just saying wrong things about the person. It's getting into the person's emotion, or belittling another person. I mean, we've seen situations where they say, oh, this person is good and all that, and the bully find a way to bring the person down. Anything that has to affect the emotions, whether in the social context or relationships, the way it's, we relate with one another, right?
Between in-laws and...
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be physical. Just
so by maligning somebody alone is
killing the person's self-worth.
Wow.
It's very bad.
And we do that often here. I mean, it's a regular thing in Nigeria.
Oh, yes, when you say...
You go to pages of newspapers, you see the social media, they just run somebody down.
And that brings it to the aspect of the social media. I mean, I always encourage that young people shouldn't be allowed on the social media because they can't handle the pressure when the pressure comes.
Yes.
I mean... Yeah, it's really a bad problem. It's a big thing, and it's something we need to really work on in Nigeria. We're sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
You keep saying that
all the time because I can see it. I mean, we talk about a child.
Okay, no. Maybe we need to call our attention to what is happening, what is prevalent right now. Kidnapping in primary schools, cultism, and then the Boko Haram thing, the Niger Delta boys. Are you saying that all these could have been part of...
I say something, and let's pick the word, empathy. There's something common to all of them. They lack empathy.
As humans.
Yes, as humans. And they lack good social skills. Those two things, those are the common factor among all.
It's not like they're not intelligent. They're intelligent.
No, they're very intelligent. I mean, it's not about intelligence here or having the feel of not of inadequacy or anything. It's just they lack empathy and good social skills. And when you lack empathy, it means the person is not compassionate, the person is not selfless, and the person is judgmental. So that's the common thing. They lack empathy.
No, but are you not worried that also defines all these things you have, these negatives? They also define the leadership. Yes.
It defines the society. I mean, like I said, a damaged child becomes a damaged adult, and if a damaged adult leads the country, we're going to have
a damaged
system. All
right, quickly, don't let me monopolize all this. Let's quickly thank all our viewers who have sent in their questions and their comments. It's a full day's work.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The program is all about you, so it's good for you to be part of the conversation. Ekene from Okota, how do you handle issues of bullying when your child comes back and complains of bullying at school? How do you handle it?
Please, the first thing as a parent, go to the school. Don't keep it to yourself, because children need that they need to build their confidence from the parents. If a child reports home and you don't do anything about it, you're killing the child's self-worth. So the first thing is go to the school, even when they don't have the anti-bullying policy, so you don't even know the reporting line. Go to the principal. You can go to the class teacher if you're comfortable with the class teacher. Go to the class teacher. Make sure something is done. Make sure they get to the root of the whole issue. Don't just see it as, oh, you're a truant, just go back to school. Or, oh, you're looking for trouble. Because that's something the parents should be careful with. The child that comes to you, that tells you something, is because the child wants you to help him or her. Please, please go to the school, report to the school, and make sure something is done about it before you rest the case.
You are really emotional about this.
Oh, yes, I'm very passionate about it. Very, very passionate.
So Ekene, she's saying to you that don't take it for granted, don't take that child for granted, do something about it. Ibrahim from Victoria Island, when do you say bullying has gotten out of hand, and then when do you think, or when do you say, and then take action? When?
There is nothing like wait until it gets out of hand. Bullying is that deliberate intimidation or persecution of somebody that is perceived as weaker. It could be a one-off issue,
yes.
just like we had the Falomo, Euretidians, and all that. That is sexual bullying, and sexual and physical bullying. If it were to be some other country, it could have been criminalized, and I hope they're still it's still being criminalized here. It is not acceptable. So there's nothing like you wait till something goes wrong. The first day, you know,
that
is it deliberate?
Yes.
Is it for intimidating a child, or for persecuting the child, or making the child feel bad? And is it for the purpose of just not making the child feel good? Please report to the appropriate quarters.
Ibrahim, please don't take it. Don't wait until it becomes, you know, too difficult to handle.
Yeah.
James from Surulere. Do such situations require the help of psychologists?
Oh yes, sometimes when it gets to the extreme. I mean, at school level, we have the guidance and counseling teacher. Yes. There are also psychologists in their own way. I mean, we tell them, if it's about a child that I think lacks self-confidence, try to boost the self-confidence of the esteem of this child. Let the child know that he or she has a talent as well that could be useful in the school, in the society. If it's a child that has that big self-image of him or herself, and then when the child sees another threat, another child sees the person as a threat, let the child know that people will be better. He will be better than other people. He or she should always put in the best at all times. And I mean, it's about counseling and guiding a child. But when it gets to extreme cases,
that is sadistic.
Oh yes, then you might have to see a psychologist. It's not all the time you see a psychologist at it, where going to the hospitals and all that. But when you think it's getting to an extreme, you don't want to have a child that is
totally damaged.
Totally damaged. Then you can see a psychologist, or even see a psychiatrist at some stage. I mean, we work with psychologists, we work with psychiatrists.
Additionally, that again, that brings another nexus.
Yeah.
The fact that we don't have the care percentages are very bad. How many psychologists or how many psychiatrists do we have to handle 140 million, 170 million Nigerians? Do we have the right
We
numbers?
don't have the right enough percentage, and that's why we say that let the guidance and counseling teacher to have a lot of work to do, because they also a lot of them studied child psychology in school, and I mean when they were learning, and they can always
so they need to ramp
help.
up.
Yes, they just need to ramp up, and let there be in-service training. That would help teachers, not only the guidance and counseling teachers. Every teacher must be able to identify, because when you're even teaching a child at school, in a class, you can easily identify a child with a very poor social skill. And you can always nurture. It's about nurturing children positively. And the moment we key into this, I mean, we're going to get somewhere. Like we said, the proportion, I mean, we don't want to talk about it. We can't get that, but guidance and counseling teachers are there. Parents are also there.
Yes.
If we have this awareness, a lot of awareness on how to nurture children.
Now, I like what you have done here also. You have balanced it. You have tried to restructure the imbalance. You are saying that not only the victim, but also the perpetrator needs help.
Oh,
that's what you're saying.
They need help. I mean, like I said, research has shown that bullies before the age of 33 themselves get into crimes, and then they become
criminals.
Criminals in their own right. Yeah. So I mean, so they need to be helped as well.
So
they need to know that they're also affected.
What Adesola is saying here is that the era of area boys, it might not go away overnight because we are not helping ourselves.
No, we're not.
That's what she's saying. Okay, Christy from Festac, what are the attributes that parents should look out for to show that a child has a tendency to be a bully?
Like I mentioned something clearly, when children start as little as 2 years, that's when they start throwing tantrums, because that's the age they're becoming aware of themselves. They want that independence. We must, as parents, curb it at that stage. Don't let a child
again. At 2.
Yeah.
They are throwing
that's when
tantrums.
they throw tantrums.
Like, no, give me my own.
And it's my own, and I must have it. A parent must always let a child know that our yes is yes, and his or her no is no. Don't negotiate with children. They are the best politicians you could have. So don't negotiate with them. When you want this done, if you say yes, it is yes. Don't say yes, but. And don't give rules and regulations that you now give exceptions. When you want a rule to be followed, let it be followed. Let it be straight rules. And nothing like, but you can. Okay, don't take sweets means but don't take sweets. Not that you now say...
okay, go and do that one first.
But later we'll talk about... No, you're already destroying the whole essence. So please, let parents put their feet down. At 2 years, they throw tantrums. We all know that it's our duty as parents to help them. And when they grow up, if it's not checked, they become aggressive children, aggressive teenagers, and you see them being aggressive to other people. Those are the telltale signs for parents to know that a child...
teenagers, and it's in their teens.
Yes, in their teens. I mean, they're aggressive. It's like they want to beat everybody because they can't have their way, or they want to belittle another person just to feel good of themselves. Yes, to have an advantage over the other person. The moment you see all these things, they are the telltale signs. And sometimes they even go as bad as throwing things in the house, throwing things. Please don't just take it as, oh, it's just a child. Just a child. There's no time that is a child. Not even at 2 years throwing tantrums. Not even at 12-year-old being aggressive or being angry at every opportunity. And then you don't want them to grow up adults that would now become very violent.
Is there any... I don't want to sound sexist.
Yeah.
But is this prevalent among male children? Do you have male children exhibiting this more than females?
Well, when you talk about having it, I'll say that it's in both sexes. I mean, both genders. We have males that are bullies. We have the females that are bullies. It's about their upbringing. It's about the values and what they believe in. So it's not on one side. I mean,
so don't say, I know it's a girl. She won't do it.
No, people go to girls only school and they get bullied. I mean, people extort provisions from them. People take their uniform, they fag them. I mean, just try to make the word look very interesting, nice. You call it fagging.
Whereas it's actually exploitation, yes.
I mean, there's no timetable in any school that says this is the time to fag.
For you to go and, do indenture.
Yeah, so it's bullying. And it's not prevalent in the
Christy, she says, don't take it lightly from age 2. Better watch out for what that child is doing. Halima from Ikeja, for those who always attribute issues to spirituality, how do you convince them to handle a child in such cases? It's not demonic.
Oh, yeah. I was taking a workshop some time ago, and I said, please, when your child comes home, he or she is having a nightmare. It's not the time to start praying and binding and losing. Call the child, know exactly what is going on the mind of the child. The child might have been a victim of bullying. And or maybe a child that destroys things at home. Then you start, no, please, check what is going on. Check the environment. Check the friends the child is keeping. Check the kind of things the child is watching. The kind of television programs. We always
the kind of information the child is getting exposed to.
The child is processing certain information somehow. I mean, there are some excessive cases that has to be seen by psychiatrists and all that. But I mean, little ones, please. Don't just take it as it's spiritual and then you start binding and losing and all that.
Without dealing with
what is causing it. A child that comes to have nightmare, like I said, might have been a victim of bullying. Maybe it's just reflecting on what has gone into the subconscious mind. Or a child that even kicks and fights in his or her brain.
Yes.
Might be an aggressive child. Some of them grind their teeth.
Yes, what do they sleep? Yes, true.
Yeah. So, I mean, you need to really know and watch what is going on with the child. You can only know this if you're also very close to them.
Halima, I hope you hear that. So, as a parent, you also must be very close to your children to be able to identify some of those things. Nifemi from Oshodi, do you think bullying is a beginning stage of wife battering when ignored?
Yes. The answer is yes. There's no about it.
Wow.
They must have learnt it as a child, grew up with it,
and it becomes a damaged husband.
And of course, like we said, the society sometimes takes these things lightly, and
because even the wife cannot go to the police station to report. They will say, "Look,
it's a culture."
Yes, it's a domestic.
Yeah, they'll say that's why I said it's a culture, and I mean they'll say it's a domestic issue. So I mean there's no way about it. It starts
from there.
From there.
So Nifemi, I'm sure Nifemi, you want to ask. So what can you do about a situation like that?
Speak out. There's
yes,
no other reason.
like you said, stand up to it.
Stand up to it. Speak out. Make yourself independent. Make yourself, if you could make yourself independent, because really it's the woman might get controlled at some point. You just have to take the bull by the horn and decide what you want to do, but don't stay in there and leave yourself to expose yourself to more danger.
Now, but Nifemi, you're gonna you're gonna have issues with forebears who have always said the position of the woman is to keep quiet in the house.
We say speak out. There's no way out in this. You need to speak out. Bullies don't want you to speak out. They don't even want people to know they're doing this to you. So speak out. You might it might involve family intervention and all that, which is the right thing to do, but you must speak out so you don't lose your life.
Okay, Nifemi, you have heard that. That's a candid opinion. Madam Grace from Ikponri, how does a school handle such a situation? Because some parents may want to withdraw their child or their children from that school, and the school may want to protect its name.
Yeah, I tell you, experiences we've had with schools is that most private schools, when you go to them and say you want to hold an anti-bullying workshop, they say, no, it doesn't happen in our school. Yes, the reason is because they want to protect they want to keep their clientele. They don't want parents to know it is happening. But I tell you, schools who embrace the opportunity, they have even the confidence of the parents, because we all know it happens in every school in Nigeria, all over the world it happens.
Yes, so your school cannot be...
It cannot be different. The only thing is that maybe you're working on it by having anti-bullying policies, by making the children more creative, I mean, teaching empathy, teaching self-confidence and all that. If the school is doing that, then it's a different thing. That shows they're also working towards curbing it.
And that's what you're all about. That's what
which is what we are doing, curbing bullying. But that doesn't happen at all. I mean, we might just be...
You can say that to the Marines.
Yeah.
Okay, then, Madam Grace, so don't let anybody deny you that fact that it's not happening in their school. You better just try.
And then you should ask for the anti-bullying policy. Every
that
school must have an anti-bullying policy, a child protection policy. I mean, outside the country, you can't work with children. Insurance will not even insure you
if you don't
have your programs if you don't have your child protection policy. So it's not only about schools. It also covers all the social activities, all the games, the sports and all that. There must be child protection policy there available. There must be anti-bullying policy.
That brings us back to the initiative of the Lagos State government. So you are saying that this must be endemic. They have to let it
move from the educational system into the wider society. Anyone working with children under the age of 18 must have all this policy.
Okay, so Lagos State government, you still have a lot of work to do in spite of the arts up for you. Then we also have Gbemisola from Ilupeju. Do you think parents contribute to bullying when they show or prefer one child to the other?
Yes. That's what we call sibling. The rivalry is also part of what we deal with in bullying. I mean, a child, you shouldn't have a preferred child. Every child has his or her own talent. The fact that this child is not good. I just mentioned that I was calling my own story, and my parents never looked down on me at any point in time. And for me, it was just interesting growing up that way until my faith changed, and I started coming first and second. PhD in view person. So for me, it is parents we have a lot of work to do, not to make a child preferred to another child. Children can't process these things, and we should understand it. The way they take it is different from the way we are looking at it. So we must not have a preferred child as parents.
Gbemisola. Now, thank you for this program. I think on this subject all this while, I don't know what to do. Thank Mrs. Ndu. I love coming on this platform. She gave her number. Anyway, maybe you call her later, so you can just say it to her.
Thank you very much for the compliments. Thanks so much.
Then Adekunle, please, when both parents are bankers and children are left in the hands of domestic people, what do you advise the parents to do? I'm sure this Adekunle is in the bank.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing the right thing, working, any living. But I'd say every little time you have, please spend it with the children. It is not the time to go for one-bay. It is not the time to go partying. The little time you have at weekend, the little time you have 30 minutes, 1 hour during the day, ask them, did anything happen to you at school? Is there somebody making you unhappy? Are you feeling bad?
Small
little things like that. Ask them those questions. You don't have to be with them 24 hours, but ask the questions. Is somebody making you unhappy at school? Are you feeling, are you very comfortable with that school? Are you comfortable with the teachers? Are you comfortable with your classmates and all that? Keep asking those questions.
Just to show inside empathy.
Yeah, and they will tell you. They will tell you.
Yes, children are like that.
We on our parts as well should show that we are empathetic. They want to see the way we relate with our domestic help, neighbors and all that. Because some people, when you treat their domestic help badly, when you're out of there, they do the same. They get their own part of it. So I mean, so as parents, please, we have a lot of work to do. Parenting is not tea party, like I always say. It's a lot of work, a 24 hours vigilante work, and God will always help us when we do the right thing too.
Adesola, thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
And for our viewers, thank you so much for staying with us faithfully and all the questions that you asked. I hope that what Adesola has advised that we should do, please let's go and put it to practice. We are all parents. And it's a great job, actually, to be a parent, really. But it's a 24-hour vigilante work. So you know what that one means. Also, until next time that will come your way again, it's bye from us.
Thank you.